Hi, welcome, welcome. I am so glad you're here today for this live on Facebook or live on YouTube, or whether you're watching the replay. I want to say welcome, welcome, either way. I am Kelly Pitts, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Lubbock, Texas. And I've been a demonstrator for about 18 years. And a lot of that, well, most of it, up until this last year or so, I finally got to go full time, but I've always had a career in marketing, PR, sales, all that kind of stuff, fundraising, and did the Stampin' Up! On the side because I fell in love with it immediately when I went to my first class and found out how great the products are. And I love all the color coordination. So that's kind of why I try to coordinate. I've got our bright blue on today, even though that's a non-traditional Christmas color. We're going to be using it for our card today. And I'm excited that you're here to share. I'm going to show you the stamp sets and everything that we used with it. And this is kind of part of a twofer card. If y'all saw the first video about a month ago, I did the reverse of this, where it had the portion where the letters came out, and I'm going to show you how to do that, but I don't think I have that card right here. Hang on, let's see if I do. Yeah, I do. Okay, this is the card we did about a month ago, and these are the letters that came out of here. So I used negative space on one card and positive space on the other card. So that's kind of how that works. But I would love to know when you're here, if you will let me know with a comment and say hello. That would be awesome. Hello, Tanya. Glad you're here. You've done this card, but thanks for joining in for support. I appreciate that. We're going to get started here. Hello, Kathy Winters. Glad to have you here also. And everybody else, just please comment. Let me know if I don't know you. Let me know who you are and where you're from. And we'll get going on this. With the card that we're doing today, we are using the Alphabet a la Mode dies, and this is 160750. That will cut out the letters. And then we're using Joy to You stamp set, and that is 162090, and that is for the greeting on the inside. We're also using Merry and Bright, which I have used on a lot of cards. We just had our retreat this weekend. I did 16 cards. It was incredible. We had 10 people doing 16 cards each. It was wonderful. 161946 on that. And I am a demonstrator, and I do sell the products, and I would really appreciate it if you need some products to order from me if you don't already have a demonstrator. We also have Merriest Trees. Looks like I froze up. Okay, Merriest Trees, 162043. I don't know what happened there. My camera just froze up, I guess. Hello, Janice. Glad you're here. Yes, Kathy, this was one of the good ones. I love these colors. So I was excited to get to do this card based on the DSP. Also, I'm using Nested Essentials dies, 16159. Who knows? They put it right in the... They put the number right where you can't see it. 97 161597. Oh, and I forgot. That's why I put it up here. Huh. Okay, so that's all of that. We're going to get going and make this card. And last time I did this part early, so you didn't have to watch. But I thought, just in case you haven't tried this with the alphabet dies, I'm going to show you kind of what I recommend. And Tanya, if there were any other tips that we learned while we were doing this at the class, be sure and chime in. But the best way I found is to get your grid paper, whether it's the little, whatever grid paper you have that has lines on it where you can line this up straight. And you take the Merry out of the alphabet dies set. Let me go ahead and switch this over. Sorry about that. Now, there we go. Okay, and I do have some Stampin' Up! Announcements at the end, so I'll get this done first, and then I'll tell you about some of the new kits that Stampin' Up! Has and online exclusives that are coming up, all that. So glad you're watching. So line up your word, whatever it happens to be. This one happens to be Merry. If you can line it up on one line and line up the bottom, I've found that looks better than trying to line up the top and having the bottom off. But this is kind of a whimsical thing, so it's really not that big a deal. But the way we're going to do this is take some tape that's not terribly sticky. That already has a hair on it because I stuck it on my leg. If you'll get a sensitive tape, or this one is called frog tape, but it is for, it's not as heavy or thick as painter's tape. So and I still stuck it on my pants to get some of the sticky off. But if you'll just get it the way you want it and hover over it, get it close, and then down. Just don't worry about it. If it's a little off, you can kind of still change it a little bit, but just go ahead and put it down like that. And then you're ready for the next step. We're actually doing 2 cards at once because, I mean, I'm going to save this for the other card, but I wanted to show you this too. So you've got your Mary ready. All you're going to do on the piece that you got the letters out of, and the one that we used on that other card, is to use our foam adhesive sheets. And these really make a big difference so that it gives this some depth. Let's see if I can move this down just a tad so I can see a little better. Just try to line that up. And I always make the foam adhesive strips just a little bit smaller. You can see, so there's a border around the edge. So you've got kind of a little room so that you don't have glue, the foam sticking out where it will show under your paper. Okay. So now we're going to take this and carefully peel this off right here. Try to get hold of that whole strip. So I didn't press down a whole lot in the middle there where the Mary was. I just pushed mostly on the ends. Then we're going to take this piece of paper, and it helps if this has lines, or it doesn't help, whichever way, if you're trying to do a whimsical or not whimsical. But I'm trying to get a little of that green tip on the top of the letters, the dark green, the spruce at the top, and the blueberry at the bottom. So I'm just trying to line that up as best I can. And I'm probably a little far right, but we're going with it. Because today we're only using the cutout letters. So now we want to go ahead and get them where you can tape in between if you want, like that. Then we're going to die cut that out. And I'm going to try it. I have not tried this with the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, so we're going to see how this works. I am going to assume that since the foam adhesive strip makes it quite a bit thicker, we may only need, there are 3 plates. Normally you would use plate number 1 and then use 2 clear plates, but I'm not sure we're going to need that. I think we probably could use maybe even the number 4 on the bottom and the 2 clear plates, but we're going to just see. I didn't have enough extra of this paper to practice ahead of time. So we're going to tape that down on there and put the second plate, and we're just going to see if it goes through. We're going to learn together. Let's see if that's going to be thick enough to cut that out. Crank that through. I don't think that was quite tight enough. Okay, so we're going to try plate number 4 or number 3 instead, and just see if that's still going to let us do that and the 2 plates. It'll be tighter, but that's just a tiny bit less tall, I guess you would say. And I'm going to run it back through again since it's taped and it shouldn't move. We want to make sure that all gets cut out good. That felt much better going through. So you can use number 3. And if you want to use number 1, which would be a little tighter, you could. But see, this is really, you can tell that should have done the trick. So we're going to move that out of the way. And then when you peel this off, you carefully take that frog tape and you peel back onto itself. You never lift it straight up or it will tear your paper. So we're going to do it like this. Let's see how that works on camera. I'm just going to pull the tape off. Sometimes the letters come out with the tape. Sometimes it just depends. Every time it's a little bit different. So we're carefully, slowly pulling it back onto itself so we don't tear the paper. Perfect. Excuse me. Okay, we'll see if I can talk now. Sorry about that. Swallowed wrong. Okay, we're going to take this whole, we'll take the Y off. You can take these letters off first if you want. And you want to be careful to save your insides, the little R's and the little V on the Y. It's critical that you save those for the other card. You don't have to have them for this one, but you definitely need them for the other card that we did. I'm going to put these back in here. And I try to keep mine on a magnetic sheet, and I just order these online. And we'll just stick these in here really quickly. And it looks like I've got some missing or out of order or something. I've got an egg on. Yikes. Here it is. Okay, so I keep them on the 2 magnetic sheets in a case that I just found an extra case. Okay. Tanya said, yeah, this tape, it actually worked better, I think, with the mini machine, Tanya, than it did on the Big Shot. So, and I did take that tape and put it off on my pants, so I think that helped. Okay, so now these letters should just come right out. Easy peasy. And what I'm going to do, I hope, yikes. I thought I had my silicone mat out, and I think I loaned that out. So I'll be right back. I'm going to have to run and get one because I loaned out the one that was in this room. I'll be right back. Okay, and we're going to have to use a Stampin' pad that's got pumpkins over it too. Okay, we can go ahead and take out, I have used the Nested Essentials dies like I showed you earlier. We're going to be putting this on those. So you can either stick the letters to your silicone mat and hold them until you're ready, or you can go ahead and stick them on. Either way, stick them on your deal. Okay, I'm going to leave that middle in that part so that for the next card I have that. And did the same on the R. Just going to barely stick that because this silicone mat is just great for this, for hot gluing or anything, because the adhesives won't stick to it. They'll stay put, but they won't. It'll let you get them back carefully. And sometimes it's easier to kind of peel away what you don't want if you're not having success at peeling up what you do want. If that makes sense, kind of do it the opposite way. Okay. Come on, Em, don't give us a fit. Here we go. And since these are this is kind of a whimsical card, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not worried about stretching these out a bit. Sorry. choking to death also makes your nose run. Okay, now this is ready for the second card like we did here. Okay, so we will set that aside. And now we'll get our Mary out. And Tanya, I think, was the one at my class who suggested doing the middle first, which is great. This R, the first R is in the middle. And if you want them all straight across, do them straight across, whatever makes you happy. I kind of thought, well, if you try to make it straight, especially with these stripes, and you get it off a little bit, it's probably going to show up more than, I'm kind of off screen there. Let's see. I don't know if that's better or not, but it'll show up more if you are trying to make them straight. So I just decided to deliberately make them not straight. So I'm starting in the middle with that R, and then going over with this R, and you could start with the M. It doesn't really matter. Just kind of laying them on there how I want. And I'm really kind of barely laying them on there just in case one of them's way off and I want to change it. And I'm going to make that one kind of come down low and hang off a bit at the bottom. Now we have our Y, and we could go off the top on this one if we want, or just do it at a slant. So these are a little bit, we'll see if we can move them over. Nah. Yep. I think I'm going to move them just a little bit over. That's why I didn't press them all the way down. I just barely stuck them so that hopefully I could move them if I needed to. I think that R was leaning a little far to the left. Whoop. And I've got a little bit of paper that I pulled up there, so I'm going to pull that off. Kind of lean this way. Now we can get our E a little closer. But you don't have to really be too fussy with it. Okay. Now let's see. Now that we have the rest of it on, if we want, oops, a little bit of paper there. I think I'm going to come up with it too. Now, I think that looks cute. Isn't that pretty with that designer series paper? That is that Merry Bold and Bright designer series paper from the Merry Bold and Bright suite in the catalog. So that's a lot of fun. Now we're going to pop that up on dimensionals. And I think I did. Yeah. So it's double dimensional, which that means you're going to have to use a non-machinable surcharge stamp, which those are going up, by the way, in January to over $1, or they may already be over $1 and they're going up, I don't know how much more, but I have been warned that all the stamps are going up in January again at the post office. So you might want to get a sheet or two if you send a lot of cards that are non-machinable. And that just means that they are thicker. Really, one dimensional is all, and sometimes it depends on the post office whether or not they'll let even one dimensional go. You can always check if it goes through the little slider on your Stampin' Up trimmer, that the little groove that's in there, slot, that the score tool and the cutting tool go on. If it goes through there, then it should be fine, because it has to do with thickness as well as the size of the card, whether or not you have to pay extra postage. But you don't have to pay double postage, but it is more than just a regular stamp. So we've got an 8.5 by 5.5 Granny Apple Green cardstock scored at 4 1/4. And we're going to quickly stamp these little doohickeys, which I forgot about and I haven't mounted. So we'll get those really quickly. And that's from the Merriest Trees set. I just thought this was so cute. It's kind of a retro look. I picture it on a drive-in or hotel sign or something back in the 50s. I don't know. That may just be me, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm going to borrow my star off here. If I ask y'all where it is, it's on my Stampin' Pierce mat, okay? Nope, it's not going to stick there. We're going to put it right there. We'll put it up there where y'all can see it, okay? So you can remind me when I'm looking for it. Okay, I think I'm going to go lemon lime twist because I don't want that to be too dark back there. You could use granny apple green if you don't have the lemon lime twist, but we are going to use lemon lime twist and do this in the background. And I'm going to rotate it. Woo, that is light. Let's see how that dries. We may want to have gone darker. And you can go up. I go up a little bit sometimes on the back. I think that's kind of fun. So this way we'll get to see which one y'all like better. If you like the darker granny apple green ones, or if you like the lemon lime twist, which is a little more, just a little lighter. I think I'm doing too many on this card. So you'll get to see which way you like it. If you decide to make this card, you can do granny apple green. And I do try to turn the little trio of stars or sparkles or whatever you want to call them, snowflakes. They could be just about anything, whatever you want them to be. All righty, I think that's all of that. We don't have any huge gaps or anything. We will get that cleaned off with our Stampin' Chamois real quick and move on to the next thing. Now I'm going to put that back where it belongs in the case so we don't lose it or the star. How about that? Now I'm going to put the star back on the block. Okay. We are ready to assemble the front of the card if we want to go ahead and do that, or we can finish stamping. Why don't we finish stamping? We've got our little scrap of white and we're going to stamp Christmas in it on with shaded spruce. That up here where y'all can see. And these stamps, usually you just want to tap, tap, tap straight. But in order to really get that solid up to the top edge and the bottom edge, I do kind of lean it forward and lean it back. I don't rock it, but I do try to really get it covered and look each time to make sure you have that covered well. So if we get this straight, you can line the paper up with your grid paper, but since we're going to cut it out, it's really not a big deal. Straight down, straight up. Try not to wiggle. We got the Christmas done. Now we can do our inside. We're going to do our, where is our little white piece? Oh, we've already got it. Okay. We are going to do the tree. I'm going to try this tree in the lighter rather than going the granny apple green. Let's try the lemon lime twist and see what we think. I'm going to move the spruce. I better just close it up for the moment. Clean my Christmas stamp. Okay. Let's try. This tree is a pretty large stamp, and you do want to make sure there aren't any bubbles in it, which you're really going to see when you practice on your sheet. That's the main. Sometimes you can tell on here and you can kind of press them out or pull it back up if you need to. Pull it up like that and squeeze a bubble out if you can see one. But we're going to, and then I would probably clean it since you've got your fingerprints all over it, run across the chamois. Now we're going to try the lemon lime twist on here. And take this ink to the stamp rather than the stamp to the ink since it's such a big stamp. Okay. And it looks like we've got some areas in there that may cause us trouble, but I don't know for sure. So we're going to stamp on here, use some pressure all the way. Nope, it looks pretty good. So I think we're good to go. We'll do that again. And make sure your last one, if you can kind of twist it just a little bit so it doesn't show. I've got a hair in there. I can see it. So if you have to do that, take something off, then you're going to have to re-ink it again, of course. But if you'll kind of twist it, you won't get a line where the edge of the stamp pad is on there, if that makes sense. If you're stamping across, sometimes it'll show the line. Okay. And we're just going to line this up at the bottom, kind of off the edge a little bit. That's kind of almost more interesting, I think. We'll see if we like the lemon lime twist. If not, we'll flip it over and do the granny apple green. I think we've let it soak long enough. Whoa, pretty vivid. See how that's going to look in here. It'll usually dries a little darker, I think. We'll see. We'll just see. We might as well have a variety, right? Okay, and we could go shaded spruce on the detail, or we could go granny apple green, or we could do blueberry bushel. And since we've got the blue on the front, I'm thinking we're going to do blueberry bushel. I had that on one of my samples, and I really liked it. So, but I was doing it on the granny apple. So we'll see how the blue works on the lemon lime twist. Y'all just play. That's part of the fun of stamping is for you to just play with different colors and different stamp sets and put different things together. You don't always have to follow exactly what's in the catalog, because that's the whole point, is for you to be creative and have fun with it. That's what I love to do at my classes. Have all kinds of card making experiences. Hopefully y'all have checked out my blog and are on my mailing list. If you are on my email list, you would have gotten all the collages of all the photos from our recent Stampin' retreat that we had, our Christmas card making retreat. We had 10 folks who made 16 cards. So it was crazy in this household, getting everything prepped and die cut and all that. You just kind of line this up as best you can. It's not perfectly centered on all of those, but just give it some even pressure, and we'll see how we like the blue. Whoa, that's kind of dramatic, isn't it? That's kind of fun. Okay. So you can go with a more traditional tree. This is just granny apple with granny apple on it. You could do granny apple with the blueberry. You can do the lemon lime twist with the blueberry. Whatever floats your boat. Okay, next I'm going to show you how to get the multicolored. Let's see if I can move that down where y'all can see it better again. It's kind of a trick to get everything where I can see and I can stamp, but y'all can see too. Okay, we're going to use lemon lime twist marker, shaded spruce, and blueberry bushel. And when you have a big solid stamp like this, it's great to use markers with it. So we're going to ink up. You always start with the lightest color first, which, since this is so bright over here, should we use granny apple that's a little darker? I think maybe we should leave that on the top one. So you always use your marker on the side like this, where you've got your brush tip. And this is the older one. I don't know if you can tell. We do have all new markers, which are wonderful for that the bullet tip end. Works a lot better than our previous markers. They really made some improvements on that. So that's exciting. I have not replaced all of mine because I don't need them all yet. So I'm still using the old ones, which work great. They're a good color, but the other end is just so much better. Let me see if this is the new bullet tip on the lemon lime twist compared to the old marker had this. And mine seemed to always get dry. See if we can get that frozen where y'all can see. Camera's not wanting to focus on it. There we go. Well, maybe if I leave it still down there. Can y'all see that now? No, you need it closer. I don't know. Not wanting to do it for me. Take my word for it that it's a lot better. Okay. So we use the brush tip anyway, and we're going to huff on this and re-moisten it so it's not going to, otherwise it would dry up in all that little chit-chatting that we just did. Okay, we're going to go in the middle with shaded spruce, and again we're going to use our brush tip and go on, use it on the side, not on the point, so that you don't mash your point down and not have detail capability later. And with this solid image, it's hard to get everything covered. It's still going to have kind of a not totally solid coverage just with the marker. That's just the way it is. But if you kind of go both ways, you know, not just cover it this way, but cover it this way too, that does help. Okay, then we're taking our blueberry bushel, doing the same thing. We're coming from the side. Now I'm going to take it and go up and down this way. Try to make sure we've got even coverage everywhere. And I just touched that with my finger. Okay. I think we ought to be good. That looks like it's kind of coming up. Can y'all see that? Where it doesn't look even. I'm going to try to go back over that with shaded spruce one more time. See if I can get that to fill in a little more solidly. Breathe on it to moisten it with your breath. And stamp it down. Let it sit there a minute. Using some pressure. You've got 3 different colors. So, yes, Tanya, I did say the you start with your light color, then go to your medium, then go to your dark. And it looks like I still didn't get that totally filled in. Like I said, that's just kind of the way it is with markers. If that bothers you and you want to try to touch it up with a marker, you can try to touch it up, but sometimes that shows just as much. I'll show you the difference. You really have to stay in the lines if you're going to do this. And you might try it. I don't think we could do the blends after we've already stamped part of it. We are just going to see if we like this or not. See, I probably should have left well enough alone, which is what I recommended at my class. But I probably should have just stamped it and not cleaned it and then gone ahead and done the other side. Flipped the paper over and tried it again. But like I said, this is kind of a whimsical card. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's just kind of fun. And anything that's a totally different color scheme like this is going to be not as serious as the traditional red and green and plaid and all that. Woo! That was quite a bold stroke, Kelly. Okay, that's darker, but I don't know that it's better. You can see that difference. If you think we ought to try it again, we'll try it again. But you might practice a time or two at home just to see before you put it on your card. But since we're on the air, I just had to go for it. All right, let's get that all cleaned off. Moving right along. That can go on the inside of our card now. Not this one, but the new one. Make sure you're doing it with your stars up. And I think I like the darker tree, but we'll see. We're going to just glue this in. You can use your Stampin' Seal or liquid glue, whatever works for you. And of course, I got that right on my mat. We'll take these pumpkins out of the way. That was for a class I did recently in Slayton, and I would love to do a pumpkin card like that with that Pick a Pumpkin bundle. It's like you almost skip over fall because you're so excited to start Christmas cards. But hope y'all can come to one of my classes soon. I have one on Monday, I think that's the 13th. Let's see. Let's look at the calendar real quick. Yeah, Monday. No. Yes, Monday the 13th is my intermediate class. And then the 16th, I have 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock beginner class. And then the 19th is the advanced techniques class. So I'm excited about those coming up this month. And if you will subscribe to my blog at createwithkelly.com, you can see the little schedule on there. And it's also on my, createwithkelly.com. Go to my calendar, or I think it's calendar. Yeah, there's calendar or events maybe. And it will be on there. All right. Yeah, those really did kind of blend into the background. They show a little more on air than they do in person. So probably I would stick with the granny apple green rather than going lighter and going with a lemon lime twist. I just kind of wanted to try it so y'all would know. All right, we're just going to take this DSP, and I decided after I did this card, I went ahead and did this all the way to the edge instead of leaving a border like that one did. I like that better. And I always try to work on a single layer at a time if I can. And you just decide this paper could be either way. So I think I kind of like it this way. It's got 2 rows of trees going up, but it's totally up to you. Just put that there. And then I've got a little strip, and that's about an inch. Let's look at our grid paper. Oh, here's an actual ruler. How about that for a concept? 1 inch, I think. Yes, that's a 1 inch strip by 5.5. And then this one is probably 3/8 of an inch. The blueberry bushel, and I just did a plain Jane one. You could texturize it if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna put it right there. And I should have auditioned my pieces first and decided exactly where I wanted that, but we're going to make that work just fine. That'll work. Oops. And we're just going to put a bow and not a ribbon all the way around. I'll show you that difference too. I ran out of my parakeet party ribbon. I had a ton of it. Y'all, that just does not show up enough. I'm just not happy enough with that. I wonder if we can overlap some of those and put some more granny apple green in there. Let's just see. I'm going to backtrack, and no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll have both versions. So you can probably be better to put this one flat since we already have dimensionals here and dimensionals under the letters. You can just glue this part flat. Isn't this fun? Or y'all, do you like traditional colors or non-traditional colors? I'd love to know which way you kind of lean on your Christmas cards. If you usually do traditional or non-traditional color schemes. If you would leave that in the comments, I would love to see those, whether you're watching live or on the replay. All right, there's that. Then if we want to put a little star on the top of our tree, we can do a blue one. We could do a granny apple green one. I'm going to do a little bit different star. I did this one on here to kind of coordinate with the front, but since that's so subtle, we just may do a bigger star. Do we want to do blue or shaded spruce? We can't really do it in the lighter green because we did the tree in that. Yeah. Oh, Tanya's non-traditional. Anybody else have a comment they want to share about that? Which way you go? Which way you lean, traditional or non? I'm kind of a non-traditional person too. I loved the set we had last year that was pink, that whimsy. Was that last year or 2 years ago? It was so pretty with the light pink. And my friend who's a Mary Kay demonstrator loved it, of course. Okay, we're just going to do our shaded spruce star at the top. Isn't that pretty? We'll get this out of the way so you don't have to look at all that. Now, I would use a little wink of Stella on there. I'm not sure if these are my old ones. I've got several that have a little bit in them. Yeah, we get a little sparkle there. And if you wanted to sparkle up your tree a little bit, you could. Or just the star. So you could choose the big star or this star that matches. This is from the Merriest Trees. The Merriest Trees and the Marion Bright stamp sets both have a star in them that's very similar. Okay, so we've got our Christmas. We're just going to fussy cut that out real quickly, which is easy peasy on these straight ones. Just kind of leave a little bit of a border. I didn't quite leave much border on that one. I'd recommend leaving a little bit more than I just did. Let me get that where y'all can see. I was kind of getting in a hurry and snipping and okay, there we have that. And if you have little foam strips, that would be ideal for this. Let's see if I have any of those handy. And they come in a big long package. I just kind of cut these for my class. So you can use these, or you could use the mini dimensionals or the edge of your dimensional pack, like cut a slice off of the edges. That works too. Whatever you want to do. Just put that here. Whoops, I've got a little pokey-outy part, kind of bulbous part. We'll fix that. All right, so the foam adhesive strips work just like the dimensionals. Just peel that back off and we'll put that here. And you could put it offset. You could put it directly on the blue. You could do however you want it. I think I'm going to kind of offset it. And I'm just barely going to stick it right now and then see how I like my bow. I've already tied my bow. This is in the annual catalog. This is the Parakeet Party ribbon. I need a little sip of water before I cough again. Hopefully I got that muted in time for y'all not to have to hear that little coughing fit. And my take a pick tool. Yeah, I can reach it. Thought I might not be able to. There we go. Usually I take the dot to take the bow to the dot, which is much better. I don't know why I did that just then. Okay, so we're going to stick that on there, pull it off. Now I'm going to kind of use my tool to kind of wrap that around the back a little because it's a little big. All righty. There we have it. And we're just going to put our cute little bow there. And I swear this Parakeet Party ribbon it goes great with Granny Apple Green, goes with Lemon Lime Twist, goes with a lot of, and the Parakeet Party, of course. So those three greens, it looks really great with, and it works with the spruce too. But isn't that a cute little card? And that was not hard at all. So hope y'all have enjoyed this. I want to tell you a couple more of the specials. that Stampin' Up has going on. If you have just a minute. Thank you, Janice. I'm glad you like it. How about you, Janice? Are you a traditional or non-traditional Christmas card maker? All right. I'm going to tell you all about those. I actually got my little banners done this morning. I'm so proud of myself. Well, first I was going to show you the card making retreat. These are the cards that we made at our retreat. And we had a big time. So we would love for you to join us anytime we have a card making experience, especially when we have a big one like this. It was a lot of fun. We had our little lights on, little light bulb necklaces on, and made all of these cards in one weekend. It was quite fun, wasn't it, Tanya? Also, I have some specials with Stampin' Up. The online exclusives that they've got coming up are starting November 7th. You'll be able to order. If you're a demonstrator, you've already been able to order from the online exclusives. But now all customers can order starting November 7th. And we do have a brand new destination kit, Best Destination, one of our kits. It's not a paper pumpkin kit. It's just from the kits collection. And that is live now that you can purchase. Also, we have a Warm Wishes, the paper pumpkin kit itself coming up for November, has little treat boxes in it, but you can also do an add-on and turn them into cards if you prefer that. So if you like this style, this is a great kit. You just have to sign up for Paper Pumpkin to be able to do this. You can't get the cards and envelopes, I don't think, unless you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. So that's the way that works. So we will just, let me switch these. I don't know why I think we need to switch them, but that's a typical way. Does anybody have any questions before we go? I will probably do several other videos of my retreat classes that may be coming up today, maybe tomorrow. I'm just going to get after it and see. I'm working on the tutorials. So if anybody's interested in a PDF tutorial of all the cards, I will have those for sale. So just let me know. And if you're interested in my class schedule, just send me an email and I'll send you the calendar. But thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great week. Fun times ahead. Bye.